Well, I am off to be damned at the to go and do the talk now, and yeah, should be interesting. Well, the difference between 10 and 15 minutes ago is that the sun's shining now, which is good, isn't it? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Vanlife. Has everybody anybody been here for the last day or so? Yeah? So who's here today? Who's just come today? Oh, well, welcome. Welcome to the... Look at us. We're in the perfect spot here. The Field of Dreams there. The stage there. This is the central hub of it all. But I just want to say thank you for coming and having a listen to what I've got to say. And I hope some of you guys take something from it. Now, the first thing I want to know is what kind of vehicles. Now, I want to find out, first of all, who's travelled the furthest to get here, okay? So is there anybody from up north? Where are you from, my mate? York, right? Anybody further than York? No? What about down south? Yeah? So where how far down? Hemel Hempstead. Oh, nice place that is, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, anybody else? Go on.
Kingsbridge, which is near Plymouth.
Right. That's the furthest down, that is. Yeah, you can't trump that, can you? So the question I want to ask next is, are vehicles, are vans? So who has got the oldest van? That's what I want to know. So anybody got a van that was built in the 1990s? Yeah?
Oh, no, it's
2000?
2000.
Don't undersell yourself there. You see, people who've got these private number plates, you just never know, do you? You never know how old a van is. So anybody got a 1980s van? Oh, that's disappointing. So 70s? Brendan's was built in the 1920s. He still runs on coal. So nobody, no 60s, no 60s? No? Well, there you go then. So our oldest van here, yeah. So my van is about 20 years old. It tends to lie about its age a lot. So, when people tell me, I go, oh yes, it's quite new, but it isn't. But that's what this talk's about actually, about inspiring you to think to yourself, do you know what, there's all these old vans knocking about that need a new life, don't they? They need a new life, and you only have to look at the amount of vans that are parked there, all sorts of ages. I still want to know, there's plenty from the 1960s in there, isn't there, in the Field of Dreams? But anyway, I've got a little bit of a slideshow going on here, so if I look at it, I've picked that right, haven't I? I'll block it, haven't I? Okay, so we'll go first of all. So who am I? I'm Steve from Steve's Monumental Adventures, and my channel is kind of about, it's about going and exploring places. You know, when you go on those road trips and you think, yeah, I'll go to Wiltshire, where can I? It's about visiting those places that some of them might be National Trust. I mean, I'll go to all sorts of things. It might be National Trust properties, it might be abandoned buildings or something that's there, or bridges or things like that. I love engineering and civil engineering and things that are just monumental, that just make you look and just go, that's pretty incredible, that is, that someone's actually built that. So that's kind of flavour of my channel, and I kind of make small documentaries on them when I visit them and try and give people a bit of information, a bit of history on what they're about. So that's what I do. Now, I'll go on first of all, so I'll go to the next one. So this is ADHD versus van life. Now, has anybody in this room got ADHD? No? Oh my.
Doctors of the week, I got it sorted.
You sorted? That's all right then. I was a bit worried about you though. But I'm glad you did. Well, ADHD, well, I'm the only one then, aren't I? But anyway, ADHD, this is quite important. ADHD, these are the things that they can put to the traits of ADHD. Has trouble listening. Avoid doing activity with any effort. That's you, Brendan, that is.
Oh, thank you.
Struggles with organisation and time management. I've got to be honest, mate. Can't sit still. Talks and interrupts excessively. Frequently loses belongings. Where's my van? Where's my van gone? But that is it. That is why I turn to getting a van and doing what I do, because ADHD does affect everybody in different ways, completely. One of the reasons it affects me is memory. So just try and imagine your memory being wiped from, say from the 70s, I was born in the 70s, your memory being wiped from the 70s through to the mid-90s. You can't remember nothing about your children growing up or anything like that. That's what I suffer with, a complete vanished memory, and it's awful. It's an awful thing to have. And I kind of decided that if I started documenting what I've done and where I've been, and that's why I do what I do and make these films, because it's almost like my memory is now on YouTube, if you like. It's all of those memories that I've been and all these locations that I've been to. So it's almost like I can look back at that like we would look back at photographs or things like that. So that's the reason why I do this, this sort of story is about my journey into that, and well, it hasn't been easy, put it that way. So, my inspiration. So, what I started doing first is I started looking at, going on YouTube and looking at what other people were doing in this sort of area. So, what I'm going to try and do here is, these are some of my inspirations: the Travel Beans, the Roaming Radfords, Brendan Explores, Matty's Adventures, and Dave Outdoors. Now, I'm going to test everybody here to see if they know who these people are. So I'm going to point to the picture and you shout out to me who they are, okay? You might know them. So, top one here. Nobody knows them? It is the Roaming Radfords, that is correct. And they are here, actually. I went to actually say hello last night, and when someone's talking to, you're talking to them, and they literally just walk off. I've not heard that. It's not the first person I've heard that from. But actually, Lindsay was absolutely lovely. The next one here. Don't say anything. This guy. Who is he?
My daddy.
Is he your daddy? Oh.
I was going to say, see the tumbleweed come across there.
Yeah.
Save me, young man.
Well, Brendan, this is Brendan Explores. He is in the audience, and Brendan Explores is our quintessential Shropshire YouTuber. Okay, so we'll probably meet Brendan a bit later on, but he is my inspiration in terms of one of my inspirations in terms of getting to know Shropshire and stuff like that. Okay.
I'll give that money later, right?
Check. Does anybody know who these are? No? Gosh, she's good. You're good. It is Alex and Emma from the Travel Beans. And if anybody knows anything about the Travel Beans, is they like to be naked a lot. It's the theme of their channel, isn't it? They like to be naked. But they've actually just had a baby, another little bean, they call it. And I thought that would be the end of their channel, but it's not. They've carried on with baby in tow, so they've gone in a whole new direction. So, they're absolutely great. Now, look at this guy here. Look at him there. Who's that? It's the guy there at the back here listening, look. It is. Does anybody know who he is?
No.
It's Dave Outdoors, okay? Dave Outdoors. He is another person who inspired me, because what he doesn't know about Shropshire and those hills, he can go and get lost for days on those hills, But when his wife says to him, he ain't allowed out, so then he starts coming under Dave Indoors then. So, there we go, and there's just this one lad here on the end here, look at that. Who's that? Anybody know him? That's Rick Astley. He does look like him a bit, doesn't he? But that is your very own, I forgot his channel now.
It's on your slideshow.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Matty's Adventures. He is. camping in a car. More about that later, or next. But anyway, they're all my inspirations in terms of on van life. Just needs to be a bit more friendly. Just a little bit. So, let's get on to the next slide. Oh, come on boys. Come up here, get your microphone. Welcome to the stage. Give them a round of applause. Brendan Explores and Matty's Adventures.
Cheers to the dog.
Who brought that dog in? That's it. Look, one thing you notice about Brendan, he's such a natural with the microphone. He loves it. You two boys, right? Okay. Now you two are two of my inspirations in terms of van life. Okay. Who's got the microphone? I'll speak to Brendan first. Okay. So Brendan, you started off. I think was it during sort of COVID time when you started?
Yeah, during COVID, making some local videos about Shrewsbury, where we are today, and then quickly moved on to kind of like van life, car camping stuff.
So you started off, didn't you? So what inspired you? Because first of all, you were the car camper, weren't you?
Yeah, so I started off basically wanting to get into van life. Went to a few different van festivals, saw some van builds. Realised very quickly that I didn't have the money to do what some of these van builds were able to achieve, and then had to really think on my feet of what I actually had to hand at the time, which was the Renault Grand Scenic.
Yeah.
And then over the next couple of months, slowly turned that car. You want to say something? Slowly turned that car into an adventure vehicle.
It was, and it was what I loved about it. I mean, I thought it was a bit when somebody told me he'd got this Renault Scenic, I thought it was a bit of a joke. I thought, how can you turn a family car like that into something you sleep in? But when I saw it for myself the first time, which is at Stratford, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe how versatile you had that, and you literally developed it, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a full-size single bed in it. There was a fridge, or a cool box, should we say. Used the famous Ridge Monkey. Who's got a Ridge Monkey in here? There we go. There's more people that have got a Ridge Monkey that recognise me and you, Steve.
Yeah.
But yeah, turned it into a kitchen at the back as well. Cooked up some brilliant meals at some beautiful locations, and yeah, I think I probably made the most out of that car.
Yeah, and you did. And sadly, there was that day. Check out his YouTube. He nearly cried in it. Sadly, it wasn't good, was it?
No, you with me, actually.
I know, I cried as well.
Yeah.
I cried for him.
It was, looking back at it, it was a silver lining to a cloud, because obviously then it brought me on to get the van that I've got now. But yeah, I think it was the head gasket went, and then that went off to the car heaven, should we say.
Yeah.
And then the next chapter began with the van.
So you started off, so when you were looking for a van, you found a van quite quickly, didn't you?
It came at the perfect time.
Because were you missing van life by then?
Well, actually, the transition was very quick. So actually, when the car went kaput, it was only about 2 weeks after then that an old friend contacted me and said, look, I've got this van, I've been trying to do a conversion, I've lost a bit of faith in it, do you want this van? I had a couple of teething problems at the time, but I managed to pick up a budget van for £700, and the rest is history.
It kills me you got it for that price, I tell you, it really does. So yeah, the rest is history. So then when you thought about converting it, which you start, because I remember he was pleased as punch when he got that van. He was like he couldn't believe how much space. But obviously, you know what it's like when you've got the space, you've got to fill it, haven't you? So what have you got in that van now?
Oh God, we've got a double bed. We've got, what would you call it? The sideboard, Granny's sideboard.
His granny gave me sideboard, so he's put that in the van now.
That was a budget buy off Facebook for 50 quid. I think when you're doing things on a budget, Facebook Marketplace is your friend.
It's lovely. It's got like a mantelpiece clock and everything on it. It's quite rustic, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
But that meant that the 3 weekends that I spent building his bed, he just literally took it out like it didn't exist. Totally, didn't you? But actually, I think you've got a really good product now. And so what's it done for you then now? I mean, you've been able to go on some real adventures now, haven't you?
Well, the main thing it's been able for me to do is have a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
I actually have a proper bed. In the car,
Yeah.
I had a full-length bed,
Yeah.
but I didn't actually have a double bed like I've got now in the van, or
Yeah.
a folding double, should we say, thanks to you, Steve.
So
What can I say? Come on, you're desperate to say something. What can I say?
so Brendan, so you got to the point then. So when did you start putting your bits and pieces on YouTube? Because you have quite an ordinary YouTube channel with a few bits and pieces. How did you manage to get to the stage where you've got as many subscribers as you've got now?
Well, I still consider my channel quite a small channel, really. But I think for anybody who's thinking about content creation, maybe just consistency and to really enjoy what you do. And I think as well when you start out, I know when I first started, I was trying to kind of maybe mimic other people. When I first started making YouTube videos about Shrewsbury, but then I think you need to just be true to yourself and be yourself, because it could become very difficult very quickly trying to be someone that you're not. So just be honest all the time.
I think when we're touching on YouTube, what is really important is if you actually think about, if any of you watch YouTube, we actually watch YouTube for the people that are in it. We're actually watching them, the people. They could put a really boring video, but we watch it because of them. So what you're actually doing is investing in people, aren't you?
Yeah, that's what I do when I watch channels, yeah. Absolutely.
So, Brendan, thank you for that.
Well, thank you for having me.
Matty. Now, Matty's on the other scale. So, Matty, do you want to tell the audience what car you've got at the moment?
Well, actually, I have a Vauxhall Astra. So it's quite hard to actually do out, actually.
It just amazes me when I see him in that car. It is a family hatchback, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. It's not built for purpose for being a car camper at all. I said it's the motorway cruiser, because you see it most of the time on the M6 and all that all the time. Yeah. It's not something that you'd see as a car camper, really. So.
But you've embraced that, haven't you? And it is difficult because when Brendan and Matty went on their adventures together, one thing they did have in common is they were both car campers, weren't you? And so, but now Brendan's gone up now. But what's really nice about the situation is, even though Matty's still in his car, what he actually does is Brendan's the support vehicle. So Brendan cooks all his dinners, doesn't he?
I look after him.
Oh, he looks after him. I tell you what, it's so sweet to see him there. Matty's going red there, look.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Steve.
But he does though. But so you've really embraced this car camping. And you've got your own YouTube channel, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's Matty's Adventures, if anybody knows. Yeah.
I was thinking of the words but couldn't.
So you now are at that crossroads that Brendan's at, where Brendan was forced into it, where you're thinking, what can I do next? What is that next move for you, Matty?
At the moment, the next move is to get a van. I'm looking at different vehicles at the moment, and I'm kind of analysing different builds as well at the same time. I'm doing pretty much the same thing as I did with the car, which is looking at different builds, seeing what I can do, and then try and make it my own, so it's different.
The reasons why you're here today.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because if one thing there is here today is inspiration, isn't there? Yeah. Far and wide. I've seen a couple of vehicles that I actually, listen to this, I'm just going to give you a little insight to what I've seen here. I've seen a full-size, double bed, pine bed, I've seen in the back of a van. A full-size pine double bed. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Nuts. But also, I actually thought it was a prison van when I first looked. It was like a set of bunk beds. He's in the room. This guy at the back here, look. He has a double bed, a set of bunk beds in his van. I couldn't believe it. But that's how imaginative people are. You're thinking outside the box. Just because you've got a small space, it doesn't mean you can't be imaginative in it. But give these guys, Brendan Explores and Matty's Adventures, a subscribe if you're on YouTube. I'm sure you won't be disappointed. Thanks, guys. So, I'm getting to my story now of buying the first van. I warn you, I might be crying at the end of this because it's been tough. It's been tough. So when I decided on what I was going to do, after I've been inspired by the likes of Brendan and Matty and Dave over there, I thought to myself, well, excuse me, guys. You all right, are you? Did you hear that? It's rude. I was sort of deciding to myself, what am I going to do now after I'd been completely inspired by these guys? And I thought, well, that's it. I'm going to buy a van. So my wife was looking around, and I thought, because what I wanted to do is, because I've got a couple of different YouTube channels, and I wanted to do a tour of the UK, going to visit new towns, because I live in Telford, that's a new town, and I wanted to just go and see how all the new towns stack up. So I started working out how much that's going to cost me. It wasn't good. I could buy a car with that, with what it was going to cost to stay in hotels all over the UK. It wasn't a good thing. So I thought to myself, So my wife sent me a couple of pictures of some vehicles. One was this Citroen Berlingo, and the other was this Chrysler Voyager. And I thought, well, if Brendan can do that, I've obviously got to get a better one than Brendan, something a bit bigger. I can do that. So she sent me these two. And this is the irony in the situation. I've never owned a van ever. I had a landscape gardening business for 25 years, and I didn't even have a van. I just had a Berlingo, that exact Berlingo, with a trailer on the back. So can you believe it? All those years, squeezing everything to a trailer, and now I've got a van. It's nuts. It's just, it's not even worth thinking about. So she sent me those two pictures there, and I thought, I was literally just about to go and see them, and then she sent me the picture of this one. And this one was, it's 20 odd years old. Tidied it up a bit since then, given it a bit of love. And she sent me a picture of this. And the good thing is, it was around the corner from me. I went and had a look at it. And it was, I think it was about believe it or not, £5,000. That's pretty good and it was completely kitted out like that. And you thought, actually, for £5,000, that's actually quite good for a starter van. You started to think, what's wrong with it? So I took it for a test drive, took it out and about. It was fine. So I spoke to my wife, because she'll approve everything first. And so we bought it. So when you're buying the van, I've got to sell it to her by going, just imagine those being by the beach, parked up on the beach, selling that, which is not, it's my van, completely. And so I ended up buying this one. So this was my new van, and it was, so the first thing I did is went on a couple of adventures then, and that's where I started my channel. I thought I'll document where I go, etc. I looked at it, and I was well away. I did a couple of trips away, and then things started going wrong with it, really wrong with it, and it started really playing up, and it was getting to the point where it was just completely unreliable. And so naturally, what you're going to do, you're going to put it into a garage straight away for them to have a look at it. So I popped it into this garage over in Telford, and I kept it for weeks and weeks and weeks. And you know those type of garages where you've got to ring them up and every time and just go, "Is it all right? Just wondering where we are with it." "Oh yeah, we're having a look at it." I thought, I've been past there 7 times over the last week, and it's not even left their little forecourt yard thing. So it wasn't well. So I got to the point where I was just saying, I'm going to have to pull it out. It's going to have to go into somewhere else. And what happened then was they ended up ringing me and saying, "We've diagnosed the problem, Mr. Bowers, and it just seems to be that the fuel line's all broken down, and there's glitter in your fuel line." Do you know when they tell you that, and you haven't got a clue what they're on about? It's all just jargon, isn't it? But then when you Google, you put it in Google or do a YouTube video, and you think, "Oh my God, it's dead." Oh my God. Yeah, and obviously I'm not going to break that to the wife. She said, "What's wrong with it?" It's nothing major. It's nothing major, nothing that can't be sorted. So, and I thought to myself, they said, "You're going to need a new engine for that." And I thought, oh, my heart sunk. So I found this place in Stourbridge, and I ended up I bought a new engine for 1,500. So here I am, I'm 6,500 up already on this van. So I thought, that's going to solve my problems. New engine, there you go. I could afford it. You can't be too bad with that, can you? So they'd washed their hands with it completely. Don't want anything to do with it. Can you come and pick it up? But can you come and pick it up and pay us £800 for the diagnostics on it? £800. They would held my van hostage until I paid it. Not a great, Has anybody here had a really bad experience with a garage? No. Must be just me then. Oh, yeah, there's one up there. Yeah, he's nodding. But do we all generally trust out the garages that we use? Yeah. And that's the secret, isn't it? It's just finding someone you trust and you know is going to give you an honest opinion on things. And so I had this new engine, and then I set up on my first adventure. Carried on the adventure I was doing originally. And yeah, it was fine for a couple of weeks. Then it started doing the same thing again. I'm thinking, have they even changed the engine? I was getting paranoid by then. What is going on here? And I just literally, I took it into another garage and I asked them to have a look at it. And this was a garage where I worked for the council. And you think that the garage that the council would use for their vehicles, or my van, my work van, you'd think that they would be really honest, wouldn't you? And they were all for taking the injectors out. Oh, that'll be about £1,000, that'll be stiff. Oh, what? And then, do you know what? Do you know sometimes you have a guardian angel, don't you? Somebody who just comes into your life and just makes everything all right, don't they? And that's what happened to me. A guy moved in down the road and I just got talking to him. I mean, he's from Cradley Eve. Even now I can't understand a word he says, but I kind of I just use Google Translator when he speaks to me. He says, yeah, old Steve, you're going to have to get that van done, mate. Is it all right? We do it all right, mate. He says, okay then, Paul, whatever. What did you just say? Yeah, anyway, but he's got these two beautiful American RVs. They are just stunning. So I just got talking to him, and like he says, a neighbour just moved into Telford, and he said to me, don't you take that to any garage now. He said, let me look at it. And so he did. He said, he started looking at the van. This is where it gets funny. He starts looking at the van and he gets one of these diagnostical computer things on there that looked like it was from out of a museum. I don't know where he'd even got that from. So he says, so what was really weird, we would take it on a test drive and we're changing various different things on the van, and we take it for a test drive and it would just do the same thing on exactly the same route that I'd take it on. Because that's the thing, if you've got a problem and you're trying to fix it, just take it on the same route every single time. But it was doing it on the same point every time. So we got to there and it literally pinged up on the computer. It was a crank sensor. Something really simple. So we replaced, this is what he did. He literally got a brick out of my garden, drove it up on the brick and got under the van. I mean, this guy's a fireman for a living, where health and safety is paramount to everything that he does. But he drove up on a brick, he said, I'll get onto there, I'll do that for you. And he pulled it off and he said, that's your problem there. And you know what they've done? The garage, when it was in that first garage, it was the crank sensor that was the fault. They'd taken off, when they changed the engine, they just literally swapped that crank sensor onto the new engine. Unbelievable. So that's where the problem was. And they literally just wired it in, hardwired it in without the plug, and put a bit of sealant in and hope for the best. And no wonder. But once we got that sorted, it's been happy driving since. I've not had a problem with it. So, I'm eternally grateful for that man for putting himself out there. And, I did repay him. I did do a lot of woodwork in the back of his van, so he's happy. But sometimes people don't. Sometimes people come into your life and just do something really nice. And, I've helped a lot of people in my time. It's just nice for someone to do that to you. It's a bit, it is one of those things. But anyway, that was the happy ending on it. So one of the questions we always get asked is, when you've got an older van, will it make it? Now, you know what it's like? Come on, how many times have you been down the motorway to Devon or something and you've seen, come on, we've all done this, we've seen some camper van parked on the side of the road with coolant leaking out of it, and you just look and go, yeah, look at them there, and you just off, yeah. Have any of you ever been that person where you broke down on the way to somewhere? No, you not, yeah. Did you get to where you wanted to go?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's so soul destroying, isn't it? People are laughing at you as you come past and look at him there. Or when you're travelling back from Devon and you see someone's camper van on the back of an AA truck and it's going back towards the Midlands, that must be soul destroying. But that's the question. Will my van make it to Scotland to do the NC 500? Would Brendan's make it there? Gord, would yours make it there?
Give it a good service, it should do.
And Gordon's hit on the nail on the head there. That's exactly what you've got to do. You know, when you've got, it's like the custodian of a beautiful listed building. You've got to look after it. You know, you've got to make sure you service it and you do everything that needs to be done. Even if you don't know what the timing chain is or what it does, it might need to be it's got to be changed. But yeah, always keep your vehicle serviced now, no matter how far you're going. And yeah, we haven't, you know, I think I wouldn't expect my van to make it all the way to Scotland in one, like Steve Bradford says, let's front load the driving, we'll just get up there. But I'd have to sort of maybe stop every mile or so, let it cool down a bit. But we'll get there in the end. But I am determined to get my van up to the NC 500 at some point. But yeah, all these different locations like the Lake District, Peak District, North Wales, they're all our dream destinations, aren't they, in England, where we want to go and spend some time and not break down. So looking after your vehicle is just paramount. So once I got my van, after a while, you start realising that, have you ever had that where you've got your van and you're thinking, this just isn't working for me, this layout's not really quite what I'm after. And I did that, it just wasn't working for me, the layout. Number one is, when we all need the toilet in the night. When you get a bit older, you have to go to the toilet at night, don't you? We all do it, it's nothing to be ashamed about. But we all go to the toilet at night. And you don't want to be able to, you know, when you've got a rock and roll bed and a short wheelbase Vivaro, there's not a lot of room at the end. So if you want to go to the toilet, that is a proper sort of contortionist sort of, you know, it's like you have to, anybody who owns a short wheelbase Vivaro needs to go in a straight jacket, and if you can get out of that, you can go to the toilet at night. It's as simple as that. But yeah, and the other thing is it blocked the bed just blocked the fridge off completely, because the configuration before was the user configuration you get in normal camper vans. Everything's all on the left hand side. That wardrobe, which is just frankly a waste of space, you just can't put the stuff in it. So I decided to just change mine completely. I mean, can you imagine saying that to my wife, going, oh, I'm just going to rip all the van. What? I'm going to just rip it all out? Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm going to rip it all out. And yeah, so that's what I did. I literally started again. So I come up, again, doing it on a budget, but not looking too tacky. That's the fine line, isn't it? So we ended up getting these Kallax units, which we've all got in our houses. The Kallax units, on their side, it takes a bit of joinery to cut one of them up, because literally, if you've ever cut into one of them, they're like cardboard in the middle. So you're having to... So literally, I've got one of those and one on the front, and then in the middle there's a trunk in the middle. So we've got major storage in there, and that's the problem before, I thought. It's just not enough storage. And when you've got all these cubby holes to put bits and pieces in, it makes all the difference on it. So that's what he ended up doing. I left the diesel heater in there because there's no other way. I wasn't going to be moving that anytime soon. So one thing that's really important is about when you're doing something like a van build is getting a little bit of help from your friends, because you'll be surprised what skills you've got amongst your friends. And I'm fortunate to have Brendan. Brendan's an absolute first-class joiner. He's like, yeah, is it really? He actually just gets us to do everything. And he openly says, when Brendan asks us to help him, he openly says, it's just because I can't be bothered to do it myself. He said that, didn't he? Did he say that out loud? Yeah. Bad, innit? Yeah. Bad, innit? But yeah, we all help each other out, and that's, you know, Dave's helped him tirelessly on all of his electrics and things like that. And I've helped him on the bed, which he ripped back out again. So and even so, his wife's sitting in the audience. He hasn't even put the toilet door on. I mean, he hasn't put the toilet door on. I don't know. Is he thinking ever? I've said I'm going to do it for him. I will put the door on. You can't live a life without a toilet door, can you? Do you know what I mean? No, there's open plan living, and there's open plan living, isn't there? You know, so yeah, you can see us here. There he is there. There's me building the bed. I'm having a laugh then, but I'll tell you what, when it comes to like 6 o'clock and it going dark when we were building it, I wasn't laughing then, I'll tell you. But this is before he got the granny sideboard in there. And the other guy there, that's Paul, my guardian angel. He did all my electrics, and Paul's the type of guy who will go to you, you know what, mate, I'm not going to do it for you. I'm going to show you how to do it. And that's the best way to teach somebody, is to get them, just to guide them and show them. And I could easily wire up a van now on my own, no problem at all. Because when you're first thinking about the wiring on a van, it's scary. You're thinking 12 volt mains electric, hook-up points and stuff like that. What does even all that mean? You know, but when you've got somebody who knows what they're talking about. But I did notice, somebody on a campsite did tell me the other day that Paul had put my hook-up point upside down, and I was wondering why my plug wouldn't go in. I'm not going to tell him that though, I'll just do it myself. I don't want to ruin it for him. But yeah, so getting some good friends to do your van build is essential, and that's my house in the background. You can see my garden is being built at the moment. And that's it. I will put helping my friends before my own garden. It's what it's about. So finally, I got it done. Now people might think to you, God, he's crazy. What's he done? What's he took that out of there and made that? But come on, that looks cosy, doesn't it? It's a cosy van. It's a cosy van, and that's what I wanted really with it. You know, there's enough room for me and the wife. In actual fact, actually last week, it was on the drive and I said to her, why don't we just go and try the van out? I mean, you know, just lie in the van, rephrase it. Yeah, and it was all right actually. I mean, obviously I've got to lose a bit of weight actually, to be honest with you, for comfort. It's, you know, it might be a bit of a squeeze, but it was all right to be fair. And we are planning to go away for the first time. And I know, Brendan, your wife's been away with you, hasn't she?
Yeah, we've been for a night away.
Yeah. Did you like it?
It was yeah. Trying to get 3 people in the back of that van was a challenge.
Exactly. You need something like the Radfords have got, don't you? One of them big motorhomes.
Oh,
Yeah, you'd love that, wouldn't you? Too much space. But yeah, so I did change it. So now I've got everything I need in that little space there. It works perfect for me. And that is the question. Everyone will tell you, everyone's an expert, aren't they? Oh, you'd be able to do it this way, you do it. Do you know what? Have it your way. It's your van, you have it your way, whatever works. And that's what's brilliant about the vans that are here. Everybody's got a different layout, totally, and it works for them, doesn't it? So the adventure started now. There was nothing stopping me now. I was literally all over the country. And this is where the ADHD comes in handy, because when you're having to do 9 locations, film 9 locations in one day, that's where you need the energy, that is. And having ADHD, you got plenty of that. You've got plenty of energy. So I started filming a lot of these places that are on my bucket list to visit. And obviously it gave me an opportunity to take some amazing drone photography of different buildings and landmarks and things like that. So you can see here, these are some of the places that I've been to. God, I've got the same grin there, haven't I? I must work on that. Clifton Suspension Bridge. Anybody been and looked at that? Ever been over it? No? Well, you don't have to. Just go on my channel. I'll take you through a bit of a tour of it. That lovely lake at the back there. That's I forgot what it is. Oh, you see, I knew I'd forget something. You see, this is it. Linacre Reservoir in the Peak District. You see, it's all about the big lakes like Ladybower and stuff. But look how beautiful that is. Linacre, just hidden away. 3 different tiered lakes. Beautiful place to walk. That's coming up in my next series. And then you've got that one there, which is Avebury Stone Circle. Anybody been to Avebury? That's just it is just thinking that they built a little village in the middle of that stone circle. I mean, who would do that? Here we've got the Malvern Hills. That was a day to remember, because it was the hottest day of the year, and I decided to climb the Malvern Hills after that during a course of several. I walked up Kinveredge first, then Malvern Hills. I nearly died at the top of there. I was literally lying down thinking, is this it? Is this it? You know, you're miraging and seeing water and stuff like that. And then what happened is I started walking down and realised I'd left my phone on the bench and I had to walk all the way back up the hill. I won't forget that in a hurry. And then over here, does anybody know where that is? Don't say that mound at Telford by the town park, at the town centre. It's gone now. That's Silbury Hill. Nobody knows why it's there or the reason it's there, but great place to go. There's a few, it's like a Neolithic hotspot there. And then this one here, does anybody know what that is?
Kiddie.
What?
Kidderminster.
Where?
Not Kidderminster.
No.
That's a kiddie.
Mate, that's the most famous tower block in England. Come on, you're going to have to help me out here. Come on, throw some guesses at me. It's a good time. Throw some guesses at me. You seriously? Did you just say Peckham? He's a legend. Come on, tell him what it is.
It's going to be Only Fools and Horses.
It is, that's actually Nelson Mandela House of Only Fools and Horses. The later series of Only Fools, that's bad, that is. How many of you watch Only Fools and Horses? Come on, put your hand up. Shocking. That's shocking. Yes, I thought, but that's the kind of mad locations that I go and visit. So when you're there filming outside, but in the there, and they're sort of coming out going, yeah, you're filming, are you? Do you want to come in and have a look at the flat? And it wasn't even filmed in there, it was just the exterior. No, it's okay, thanks. I don't think I've ever felt so unsafe in my life being parked there. But yeah, so that's where I ended up. Going to a few of these locations. So if you do go on my channel, I've already done one series full of these locations. So I think it was 13. I mean, why I've just done 13? Why would I even do that? 13 is like the unlucky number, isn't it? And I've literally done 2 series of 13. What's that about? Anyway, my new series is online now. So if you give me a subscribe, that'd be great. Now, I just want to touch on this. Now, look at that location. Does anybody know where that is? You would. This is the greatest park up with a view you will ever go on. Let me tell you about it. This is the Great Orme, okay? Have anyone been up the Great Orme at Llandudno? Yeah. So you know when you drive up around that road, don't pay the toll, go up the other way, go up the cable car way, because you have to pay to go the other way. You're only paying for a quarter of it, literally. If you drive up there and you come along, you come right the way along and you go past the cafe, there's a little left turning that looks like just a little concrete road. Head up there. That is the parking spot. It was just awesome. Literally, you just walk across the hill and you've got literally the views of Anglesey, Snowdonia. Just go up there. It does say on there, no parking. But actually, do you know what? They've got those signs all over North Wales, and we don't take any notice of them because we're considerate people, aren't we? And it'll probably take them a lot more to kind of sue us for going there than it would be worth it. But you know, we do respect it. And when we were there, when we minding our own business, and then a group of lads turn up. They're having a barbecue outside. Literally drive off and leave it all on the floor. That's what we're up against, isn't it? Disrespectful people. And I guarantee, on this campsite, when everybody leaves today, there will be areas that will be completely clean, but then there will be a massive clean-up job because we're all different, aren't we? And we've all got a different set of respect for our environment, and that's kind of what we have with car camping, really, isn't it? And general camping. But yeah, so stealth or wild camping. I don't know, I've never really liked the word stealth because it sounds a bit urban explory, you know, a bit sinister, doesn't it? But on my van, I have got an awning which has to come off. I mean, I'm literally over there in the field. Everybody's got everything out, all the awnings are out, and it's just me. It looks like an abandoned van in the middle of the field, literally. But that's what I don't mind. I will park in a street. I keep myself to myself, and I keep myself to myself, and that's how, you know, how it should be. But there are a lot of anxieties involved in the camping side of things, where, you know, when me and Brendan talk about like pre-camp anxiety, where, you know, where you realise where you want to go, and you just like, you have these, like, you start overthinking it, don't you? You start thinking, shall I go there? Oh, well, you know, and the effort comes, but, you know, as long as you respect where you are, I think it's, you know, it's really good. And I do stay at campsites from time, not very often though, You know, it's but I just do like to park up in the middle of a lane. I was parking up at Kimver Edge a few weeks ago. It was literally, it was quite scary because it was I was in this car park on my own, pitch black, and you're just hearing, because you can't see outside, you just hear cars turning up and stuff, and you can't see what's going on outside. That's quite intimidating for somebody who is on their own. But yeah, that is a top car park to park in. So just quickly, always with great company. I always think when I'm with Brendan and Matty, it's like a really rubbish version of Top Gear, right? Obviously, I'm probably Jeremy Clarkson because I drive the fastest. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I drive the fastest. I have got a bit of weight as well because Jeremy has as well, hasn't he?
I'm happy to be Captain Slow, okay?
He is definitely Captain Slow. Let me just put. I've parked up 10 minutes, right? I probably parked up 10 minutes before Brendan ends up coming down the Horseshoe Pass. I had time to get my camera out and film him and everything. Anyway, these two though, but at the end of the day, you look, we're all together, and that's what it's about, that being together, and we, you know, going on these adventures, it's much more fun when you've got a group of people, even if he is incredibly slow. It is, but you know, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So guys, I just want to thank you for listening to me rambling on today, and I hope you've taken something from it, or you've just thought, yeah, it's all right, I'll give him a little subscribe. But don't forget to give the other guys a bit of subscribe as well. Thank you very much, and I'll hand it over, and I think I did that just in time. There you go. See, I timed that, I've rehearsed that I've only just managed to put that together in a week. Thanks very much, guys. Well, there you go. Talk done. It wasn't as bad as I thought. Some great support from the Shropshire Massive, which was great. And go and see what they're doing now.